Listen to me. You can't level up alone. I know. The world out here got you thinking that you gotta do it all by yourself. Like it's noble to suffer in silence, like it's some kind of badge of honor to carry the whole weight on your shoulders, never ask for help, never lean on nobody. You walking around with that "I got this" mentality, but the truth is you don't got this, not like that. See, I used to think the same thing. I used to think being a man, being strong, being focused meant being isolated. I thought I had to grind alone, hurt alone, build alone, but I found out real quick that isolation don't lead to elevation. It leads to exhaustion. Let me tell you something that changed my life. Iron sharpens iron. That's not just a fancy quote. That's a law. A principle. You can't stay sharp surrounded by dull blades. You can't evolve when you're the only one pushing. You can't grow when the people around you are content staying small. And some of you not stuck because you don't have the talent. You not behind because you lack discipline. You stuck because you keep choosing the wrong circle. You keep choosing comfort over accountability, familiarity over growth, loyalty to the wrong crew over destiny. You wanna fly like an eagle, but you keep flapping with pigeons. Listen, when I was at my lowest, when I was homeless, eating out of trash cans, walking the streets, no direction, no identity, you know what started to change things. Not just the grind, not just reading books or listening to tapes, but God started placing the right people in my life. People who didn't just see where I was, they saw where I could be. People who didn't let me stay in my pity. They called me higher, they challenged me, they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That's real friendship. You need people around you who see the future version of you and refuse to let you stay stuck in the current one. People who love you enough to correct you, check you, push you. I'm talking about those who say, "Nah, bro, that's not excellence. That's not the standard." Or, "Queen, you better than that. Don't you dare settle." See, some of y'all are starving spiritually because you're surrounding yourself with people who feed your ego, not your soul. You got friends who'll party with you but won't pray with you. They'll turn up with you, but they won't turn the page with you. They cool when you play small, but they feel threatened the moment you start dreaming big. You better watch that. That's not friendship, that's spiritual sabotage. You gotta get around people who make you uncomfortable in the best kind of way. People who make you level up just by how they live. Who don't even have to say nothing, but the way they grind, the way they talk, the way they walk in integrity, it forces you to reevaluate how you move. Let me be clear, I'm not saying cut everybody off. I'm saying be intentional. There's levels to this. You got associates, you got acquaintances, but then you got covenant friendships, the ones ordained to walk with you through the fire, not just the finish line. And when you find those people, you pour into them like your life depends on it, because it does. You see athletes, artists, CEO, people out here killing the game, and you think, wow, they're just built different. And yeah, some of them are, but I promise you, behind every one of those success stories, there's a team, there's a circle, there's somebody speaking life, somebody holding them accountable, somebody checking in at 2 a.m., somebody saying, "Yo, don't give up now, you too close, you want to go far." You need people who don't just clap for your success, they cry with you in your pain. People who know your flaws but still rock with you. People who will drag you to your purpose if they have to, because they refuse to see you waste your gift. The truth is, friends are more than people you laugh with. They're often the mirror that reflects your deepest values. And if you're surrounded by nothing but noise and nonsense, you're gonna miss your calling. You're gonna delay your assignment. Some of y'all out here praying for a breakthrough, but you haven't made room for the people who are carrying the key. Stop trying to be a one-man army. That's not strength, that's pride. Listen to me. Real strength is knowing when to say, I need help. Real power is saying, I can't do this without a team. Growth happens in community. Transformation happens in circles, not silos. And if you're serious about this life, if you're serious about your destiny, if you're serious about becoming who you were called to be, then you better start surrounding yourself with people who challenge your excuses and stretch your vision. Because the truth is, you can't level up alone. Let me tell you something that most people never stop to think about. Your circle is your mirror. You hear me? You want to know what you look like on the inside, who you really are when the lights go off and the cameras stop rolling. Don't look in the bathroom mirror. Look at your circle. Look at the people you talk to every day. Look at the ones you call when life hits. Look at the ones you hang with when nobody's watching. That's your reflection. And the problem is, too many of you are frustrated with your results, but you still keep hanging with the same people giving you the same weak energy, the same small thinking, the same negativity. And you wonder why you feel stuck. Let me help you. You're not stuck. You're just surrounded. See, you think you can rise above your environment. But the truth is you adapt to it. That's how the brain works. You become what you tolerate. You start speaking the language of your circle. You take on their habits. Their standards become your ceiling. And some of y'all got ceilings so low you can't even stand up in your full potential. That's why I say your circle is everything, everything, not just for comfort, for clarity, not just for support, for strategy. Because the wrong circle will have you stuck in survival when you were born to thrive. You out here trying to run a race with people who don't even know where the finish line is. Come on, man, you got dreams, but your friends only got distractions. You trying to heal, they want you to stay hurt. You want to grow, they're busy gossiping. You trying to learn and level up, they still doing the same old thing every weekend, same conversations, same complaints, no change. And then you wonder why you feel conflicted inside. It's because your soul's trying to evolve, but your circle's anchoring you to who you used to be. You gotta hear me. Just because you've known someone for years doesn't mean they're meant to go where you're going. History don't qualify someone for your destiny. Loyalty doesn't mean alignment. Stop confusing proximity with purpose. Some people are in your life by accident, some by assignment. And if you don't learn the difference, you're gonna waste years trying to carry people who were never supposed to walk with you in the first place. I had to learn that. It hurt. It cost me. But I realized I can't fly if I keep dragging weight. I can't stay locked in if I'm surrounded by people who don't even believe in commitment. People who don't even believe in themselves. If you're around 5 people who quit when it gets hard, guess what? You'll be number 6. If you're around 5 people who make excuses, you'll start talking like them, acting like them, and eventually believing like them. But if you get around people who refuse to settle, I mean people who wake up hungry, people who sharpen you, challenge you, correct you when you're slipping, you don't have a choice but to rise. You have to grow, you have to evolve, because high-caliber people hold you to a high standard, and some of y'all need to check your crew and ask, who in this group is calling me higher? Because if your friends never confront you, never say, yo, that's not like you, what's going on, then they not friends. They fans, and fans clap when you perform, but friends step in when the show is over and life gets real. You want to be great, but you don't want to be uncomfortable, and guess what? Growth requires friction. And sometimes that friction comes in the form of accountability. That one friend that says, nah, bro, you said you were gonna wake up at 5 a.m., why you still in bed? That sister who says, "Hey, didn't you say you were done entertaining toxicity? Why you still answering that phone?" You need people who remind you of your vision when you forget. People who won't let you quit on yourself just because you're tired. People who love you enough to tell you the truth even when it hurts. That's real love, that's real friendship, that's the mirror you need. Because listen, your circle can either bless your future or block it. It can be a launch pad or a lid. And if you're serious about living at the level you were created for, you need to surround yourself with people who make your excuses feel uncomfortable, not acceptable. At the end of the day, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. And your standards are shaped by the people you let speak into your life. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your circle. Look, I know we like to celebrate the wins. We post the wins, we shout out the wins. But let me ask you something. Who's standing with you when there's no win to post? Who's still in your corner when the lights go out, when the checks stop coming, when the pain hits harder than the praise? Because I need you to hear me today in the darkest moments. Real friends hold the light. Anybody can clap for you when you're winning. Anybody can show up when things are easy, but that's not where you find the real ones. That's not where loyalty is tested. That's not where love is proven. No, you find out who's for you when life punches you in the face. When you lose the job, when you relapse, when the dream looks like it died. That's where real friendship shows up. You see, when I was at my lowest, I'm talking about no money, no food, sleeping in abandoned buildings. I didn't need people to remind me I failed. I already knew. I didn't need a fan. I didn't need somebody to quote a cliche or hit me with some shallow "you got this" talk. I needed someone to stand in the dark with me. I needed someone to say, I see the pain, but I also still see the promise. Some of y'all are out here doing life with people who disappear the moment the spotlight dims. They're with you when you're trending, when you're funny, when you're generous, but the second you go quiet, the second you get a little low, they vanish. And I'm telling you, if your friendships can't survive your broken seasons, they don't deserve to be part of your breakthrough. You don't need people who just love the stage version of you. You need people who show up for the behind the scenes version, the messy version, the crying at midnight version, the I don't know if I can keep doing this version. You need people who will sit in your silence and still speak life over you. Because here's the truth, life is gonna hit you. I don't care how focused you are, how disciplined, how talented. At some point you will break down. At some point, the storm will come, and when it does, you better not just have fans around you, you better have some pillars. Some people who say, lean on me. People who don't just show up for the party, they show up for the pain. And listen, that kind of friend, that kind of person, that's rare, that's sacred, and that's why when you find them, you cherish them. You honor them because real friends don't just walk with you through fire, they carry you through it when your legs give out. And I know some of you right now, you're trying to act like you're good, you're trying to act strong. You keep showing up, putting on the smile, pretending it's all good, but deep down, you're tired, you're overwhelmed. You're hurt and you keep telling yourself, I don't want to burden anybody. You keep saying, I gotta be strong for everybody else. But let me free you, you don't have to do it alone. Stop believing the lie that says asking for help makes you weak. That's pride talking. That's trauma talking. The strongest thing you can do sometimes is say, I'm not okay. And the most healing thing in the world is to have somebody respond with, I got you. That's why friends matter more than you think. Because sometimes your mental health is hanging by a thread. And it's a single phone call that keeps you from falling. Sometimes you're about to walk away from your purpose, and one text message pulls you back. Sometimes your whole world is crumbling, and someone just sitting with you in silence, not even fixing it, just being there. That's what keeps you alive. Real friends become your anchor when everything else is shaking. And some of you, you've been trying to do life in isolation for so long that you forgot what connection even feels like. You've normalized loneliness. You've normalized emotional shutdown. You think you don't need anyone. But that's not strength, that's survival. And you weren't built to survive. You were built to thrive. And hear me, thriving requires community. It requires love. It requires friendship that isn't fake or flaky. I'm talking about friendships forged in vulnerability, in honesty, in trust. You want to know who's really for you. It's the one who sticks around when there's nothing in it for them. The one who reminds you who you are when the world tells you you're not enough. The one who says, you might be in the dark, but I brought a flashlight, and I'm not leaving until we find the way out. That's love. That's rare, and that's why it matters. So don't wait until you're broken to go looking for connection. Don't wait until the storm to build your tribe. Build it now. Invest in it now. Be that person for someone else, and watch how it comes back full circle. Because in the darkest moments of your life, it won't be your resume that saves you. It won't be your talent. It won't be your following, it'll be your friends. Everybody want to talk about success like it's some solo grind. You hear it all the time, I did this by myself. I built this from the ground up alone. I don't need nobody, nah. That's cap. Ain't nobody doing this life thing, this purpose thing by themselves. You show me somebody successful, I'll show you somebody who had people behind the curtain. I'll show you a team. I'll show you friends. Listen to me. Friendship is the hidden fuel behind every success story. Period. We like to praise the grind. We love the highlight reel, the championships, the records, the degrees, the business milestones. But what we don't talk about, what we never see on the gram, never hear in the interviews, is the moments when that person wanted to quit. When the pressure got so heavy it almost crushed them. When they were one, I'm done, away from giving up on everything. And in that moment, it wasn't their talent that saved them. It wasn't their discipline. It was that one phone call. That one friend who said, nah, bro, you too close, don't stop here. That one sister who said, girl, don't let that setback lie to you. You were built for this. That's what got them through. That's what helped them keep going. Not hype, not hustle, connection, friendship. I don't care how strong you are, how gifted, how laser. Focused, you need people. You were designed to need people, designed to walk in community, designed to lean on each other. Even Jesus had disciples. Even the greatest had a circle. You think you're doing it alone, but what you don't realize is you're grinding at 50% because your circle's weak. You're running on low fuel because you got people around you who don't push you, don't challenge you, don't speak life into you. You need people who will walk into the room and remind you of the vision when you're distracted by the chaos. People who will fight for your destiny when you're too tired to fight for it yourself. That's not optional, that's vital. Because let me tell you something, this journey, this purpose-driven life, it will test you, it will break you before it builds you. And the enemy don't attack your gift. He attacks your confidence, your identity, your relationships. Why? Because he knows if he isolates you, he can destroy you. But if you're surrounded by real ones, you might bend, but you won't break. Some of y'all are talented, but you're tired, anointed, but you're isolated. You're winning in public, but losing in private because you don't have anyone checking on your soul. No one reminding you why you started. No one covering you in prayer when you can't even speak. That's dangerous. I'm not impressed by your hustle if you don't have a healthy circle. I'm not clapping for your success if you don't have anyone to share it with. Because true success is never just about the goal, it's about who's walking with you on the way there. Who's in the car when the road gets rough? Who's still cheering when the world forgets your name? You can have all the trophies, all the status, all the money, but if you don't have community, if you don't have people who love the real you, you'll still be empty, you'll still be lost. That success will be loud, but your life will feel quiet. The most powerful people on the planet are not the ones with the biggest platforms, they're the ones with the strongest relationships. The ones with deep roots, the ones who are never alone in the fire, and I'm telling you, if you really want to go to the next level, stop focusing only on goals and start focusing on people. Start investing in friendships that fuel your faith, that protect your peace, that sharpen your purpose. Some of you got the dream, but the dream is heavy. And the only reason you haven't dropped it is because somebody was holding you up when you couldn't stand on your own. That's why you gotta stop treating friendship like it's optional, like it's background noise. No, it's the foundation. It's the infrastructure under everything you're building. You weren't called to carry your calling alone. You weren't created to climb this mountain by yourself. You need people around you who remind you you're not crazy for dreaming that big. People who believe in your vision even when it's still blurry. People who remind you that you're not done yet. So yeah, build the business, chase the goal, write the book, run the marathon, but don't do it alone. Because when it's all said and done, when the applause fades and the lights go out, what's gonna matter most is who was there with you in the dark, in the grind, in the trenches. Friends don't just walk with you to the top. They make sure you don't fall off when you get there.